If you have an idea for a cool application that you want to build, but you feel stuck because you don't have a degree in computer science, look no further than this video, because we are going to be unpacking the newest product from our friends at Fillout called Zite. Zite gives us the power to vibe code with no code. Two terms you might not have heard quite yet, so if you're interested in learning how to build your own software without any code and just using basic language, stick around and let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Gareth and this is Gap Consulting. It's our mission here to help you unlock the full potential of no-code tools, especially when it comes to leveraging AI. And today we're going to be focusing on the newest product from Fillout called Zite. Now, before we get into the heart of things, I first want to invite you to follow along with me. I'm going to be using a template in Airtable that I'll share with you. I'm also going to be using Zite, which you can gain access to by first applying to participate in their beta. They're still in beta testing as of the recording of this video. They're letting new people in every day. And so if you sign up using the link that we share, you'll be able to request access and eventually be building your own software without any code. Now, first, let's break down some basic understanding about what we're even talking about. What is no code? What is vibe coding? And why should you care? Well, the answer to vibe coding is pretty popular these days. Vibe coding is the newest way to develop software applications. It does not require you to know any code at all. Basically, you're going to interact with a chatbot or a prompt. You're going to give it some feedback as to what you're looking to build, and the agent is going to build the whole thing for you, frankly. It's come a long way in a very short amount of time, but the ability for you to stand up entire software solutions without writing a single line of code, it's crazy. Now, why is it called vibe coding? Because of the idea that you're coding based off of the vibe. You're not actually looking at code line by line. You're just getting a feel for it. Did it do the thing you asked it to do? Does it build? Does it look like you expected? Cool. It checks all the boxes. Let's move on. Let's continue building. It's the fastest way for you to stand up some amazing new software ideas, and it's allowing anybody with any kind of levels of experience in tech to start building things and creating custom solutions. So I'm all about it. Now, what is no code? If you're new to this channel, you might have this question. No code is the idea that we can build software without needing any code, but it's not just through prompts. We actually build tables and link things up and maybe build some automations and all of this. So there's a little bit of a lift on the no code side of things, far more than there is on the vibe code side of things. But it gives us a foundation, it gives us a nice place to get started. And again, we still don't need to know how to code. So for this example, I'm going to be using a template in Airtable. Again, I'm happy to share this with you, but let's pop on into my screen. Find the link that I share here. This template is readily available inside of the Airtable ecosystem, and you can just grab it for free from Airtable. And basically what it's going to do is give us this very thing that you see here, properties and contacts, and it's pretty straightforward, right? We're just listing out different properties, again, example data for our purposes, and we've got our contacts over here that are linked to the properties. I've created a copy of this database already in my Airtable account right here. So here I am, properties, we can look at the different views, and we've got a grid view. So we've got a building or an address, links to an image, a site plan, square footage, listing price, date available, all the relevant data for a property that you might want for a real estate agency. And then imagine over here for contacts, we have our real estate agents, right? So if we look at the properties, they connect to those contacts. And over here, we have the listing broker. This is that linked relationship where we're saying, hey, this property is connected to this contact. So what do we want to build? Let's imagine we're putting together a website from this data, and we want people to be able to click on the various properties and submit their interest in the property. And then furthermore, we want our real estate agents, the people here on our contacts table, we want them to get an alert inside of Slack when somebody puts in any interest for a property that that particular contact is associated with. So we would want to send, Daphne here a Slack message, for example, when somebody goes to the website, looks at this 4709 18th Avenue property and says, hey, I'm interested in this. I'd like more information. That way Daphne gets notified and our business thrives and we have a way to nurture and cultivate our leads. So how can we build this? If we don't know how to write code, if we don't know how to build websites, if we don't know how to set all this up, it could be a big lift, but we're going to do it here in Zite. Now, as I said, Zite is currently in beta. You'll have to first request access to it, and then once you get access, log in and you'll have this functionality. So to start off, we're going to say, hey, we're building with Airtable. I want it to know that I've already got the database built in Airtable on the back end. So I'm going to connect it up like so. And in doing so, I can add all my resources, or I can just add that one database that I want it to have access to for this purpose. Now, because I don't want Zite to get confused with the hundreds of databases that I have in my Airtable, I'm going to copy the name of this one, Real Estate Home Visits, and I'm going to grant access to just this base. So all I have to do is paste it in there. It filters it down to right there, and I can grant access. So now Zite sees that database, and I can put in a prompt. Now, to save us time, I've already created a prompt. I'm just going to copy and paste it, but here's what it says. Generally, for me, in working with AI, I tend to think that if we give it more information, we're going to get better results. So I'm calling out the fact that I already have this built in Airtable, properties and contacts. Properties does this, contacts does this. I'm just kind of describing what data I'm collecting. Here are the instructions. Use my Airtable data to make a website that lists all available properties on the market for a real estate agent, and then have a form that people can fill out, which expresses interest in the property. Lastly, please use a Slack integration to have new leads also be pinged in Slack for our agency. Now, what's down here? We've got attachments, right? So we can drop in some attachments if we have them. And we can also alter the theme. So we can say, hey, we're looking for a modern theme. We're looking for, whatever these different, options are. Let's go with the Nordic minimalism theme here. I'll choose it and let's send this information. So on the back end, Zite's going to be doing all the thinking. This will take some time. So it'll make a lot of sense a lot of time for you to flip over and do something else while you wait for Zite to work in the background. It's going to write a lot of code. It's going to do a heavy lift. So give it some time. Now, but we see that here it's giving us a warning. It's saying, hey, hold on. I actually don't have access to your Slack. Like, you shared access to Airtable already. Cool, but I don't see your Slack. Help me out with this. So we can click here and either connect it, or we can just move on. So for our purposes, let's put this on the back burner, and I'll say continue without this. And now it's getting to work, right? So it's going to start creating the app. I'm going to walk away and do something else because there's quite a large lift for Zite to do here. So we're going to pause this up right here and resume play when we're ready to go. All right, Zite is done doing its work. I'm honestly a little bit stunned at how good this looks off the rip, but where are we right now? In terms of all in on Zite, it took it less than 5 minutes to build this, okay? So let's kind of go back up here and I'll show you. This was our prompt, right? It asked if we wanted to do the Slack thing. We said skip Slack for now. And then here's what it did. It went through all of these different steps as I was waiting off camera. And so it created the styles, the color palette, the index, all of this. You'll note that what it put together is still using that theme that we chose, but it might have had to, make some other styling updates here, of course. It created the index. It mentions creating the Airtable, which I wonder if it's kind of like a default thing, because I don't think it created anything new in Airtable, but we're going to have to look when we actually dive into it. We've got the nav bar up here at the top. We've got the footer. We've got the property card component. I mean, basically it went through and thought about all the different things it would need in order for us to have a website that did this, right? It thought about creating a home page. It thought about creating formatters. It thought about creating that contact form. We actually told it to do this. It created that agents page, the property details page, the properties page. It's done a lot of thinking for us, which I love, right? These are things that as a builder, as a coder, as a builder, these are things that you would have to know to do, and you would know how to do those things because you'd have had experience building hundreds of websites or hundreds of databases, right? You don't need to know that anymore. Zite is taking all of that for us and just saying, I got it, no problem. I'll do the heavy lift. And here's what winds up over here. Now, before I jump into actually demoing the tool, which I have yet to do, we have the following, right? It says, hey, connected the site to your Airtable database to manage property listings. I can't wait to try this out because I want to make sure that when I put a new property in Airtable that it actually shows up on the site. That's huge. Also, they say they implemented a clean, minimal design inspired by the Nordic aesthetics. Love that. And then added Slack notifications to alert us when new leads come in. This part is not done because I did not integrate Slack, so we'll have to check in on that as well. But let's kind of give this a whirl. Now, first and foremost, I want to show you, we've got preview up here, which allows us, we have a toggle, right? It's either preview or edit. Starts off on preview, and it allows us to preview the thing that was built. So we've got 123 Nordic Lane, 456 Fjord View. I'm starting to think that maybe these are not coming from Airtable. So if we flip over here, we don't see those two properties in our property database. So there was a bit of a disconnect when it came to actually putting this all together. Now, I did just pop into my Airtable as well to verify that Zite has not created a new database for us. So I'm not exactly sure where this information is coming from. Zite probably either created these images on their own or just added some dummy data for us to interact with on the site. So that's what we've got here. Of course, we can click View Details, and it takes us into the page for this. This looks so good, right? I'm really impressed. We've got Emma here as the listing agent. Again, not using data from our Airtable, but it's still a great start. And then, of course, I can enter here my name. I could put in my email and phone number, and then send out some information to Emma, presumably the listing agent on this property. This is wild stuff, right? I mean, this whole thing came together, and we've got a little bit of cleanup to do, right? Because it's not currently connected to our Airtable that we shared. Let's see how we might be able to adjust that or fix that. We go into edit mode here, and it says select the element to edit. So this feels like, to me, cosmetic editing. So if we want to, remove the form or update the square feet or the number of bathrooms, like these types of things, that allows us to edit that. So if I were to click into an element, this allows me to give it a background color, adjust spacing, corner rounding, etc. Maybe do a little AI edit. So this is how we edit the actual pages that were designed inside of our app. We've got the code. So if you want to look at the code, you can. And then we have responsive mode here. So we can check out different devices. So we can look at it on mobile, tablet, laptop, computer, etc. And then we can go full screen with this as well. So pretty cool stuff off the jump, right? Again, we don't have that connection to Airtable yet. So if I want to set up that connection, I thought we did this already, but what happens if we do it again? Let's set up another Airtable connection. We will build an app using our existing database, which is this one. Let's see if this is what we need to do in order to get Zite to pull in the appropriate data. So I'll say I've connected Airtable now. Can we use the data in my Airtable database? Maybe there was a way to share this up front and I just didn't do it properly. So we'll have to give it a whirl and try again. Again, no, not so bad, right? We're vibe coding. All we have to do is say, communicate with the software and say, hey, things aren't quite what we expect. And within a few iterations, hopefully we can get a working product here. Because obviously it's important for us to actually own and store that data, the agent information, the property information, etc. Now, while Zite is doing its thinking, you can see it's going through the different phases. I'm going to flip over to the About page. Obviously, this is all fully editable. All we have to do, we can't edit anything right now because it's generating a new version of the app. But when it's done, we could easily say edit mode, and then just come in and make changes. So looks really clean. I like it. I think it's got a good feel to it. Overall, pretty impressive. The missing component for us right now is still that Airtable backend. So let's pause again right here and see if we can't get it on our second attempt. All right, we just finished with Zite. It probably took it another 5 minutes or less to generate this new update. And I gotta tell you, I'm getting excited, man. I'm getting more and more excited as this goes by because it's actually taking data from our Airtable now. And I mean, just like that, we were able to properly integrate it. Now, maybe there was a way, as I said, for me to do this up front and I missed it. Very possible. This is my first or second time inside of Zite, but let's take a look at what it has just done. So we see that This was our prompt here, add Airtable, and here's what it said. So it rewrote a lot of stuff. It made some changes. I was watching as it was doing this, and it made me wish or regret that we didn't look at the agents page, because I'm sure that it made changes to the agents page, because if you think about our agent stuff, all we have back here in Airtable is a name, not a whole lot. I bet that Zite had previously given us a nice agents page with photos of our agents, their email addresses, etc. That is no longer going to be available because we didn't have that data in Airtable. But you can see it did a lot of stuff. It did a lot of rewrites, rewriting the agents page, recreated the home page, etc. Let's take a look at what is happening now. So now we've got featured properties, right? This is the data in our Airtable base. This is wild. 12 Glenbrook Way, 179K. Let's flip into Airtable. 12 Glenbrook Way right here, 179K. What do we have here? Haynes Road, 987 Haynes Road for 300. What's here in Zite? Well, we don't see that one until we go to view all. And here it is, 987 Haynes, 300K. So pretty amazing stuff, right? We can click in, view details, and we see the site plan. This is data also coming from Airtable. We didn't have to tell it that we had that additional information, just readily available. It's got the price, bedrooms, and bathrooms. I'm not sure if this is data that lives in Airtable as well. We do. We have bedrooms and bathrooms in Airtable. Awesome. Square feet, all pulling from Airtable. And then let's check out our agents page. Now, as I said, we didn't take a look at this previously. I do regret that. Here in our agents, though, we have the names of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different agents. Those are going to correspond with these 7 agents here. And of course, we don't have a lot of information on these agents in Airtable, so there's not a lot to share here, but you can see that we've created cards for them. So the data that you have in Airtable, after you sync it up with your Zite, you can, just tell Zite like, hey, I just added photos for my agents. Can you please add photos to the web app? How amazing is that? No need to go in and find out where is the thing and how do I do it. Like, you just talk to Zite and it's done. This is wild stuff. So when we're ready, let's say we loved this and we were ready to go. Who can use the app? Right now, we can turn it down to be anyone or only team members, and then we can publish it. We can also add it as a template to Zite so that other people coming to Zite can say, hey, I love this. I love what you built. Let me build it as well. And they'll just copy your stuff. We also have workflows, right? So workflows are another component. So it is warning us to check that out. So this is where everything is going to happen in terms of the workflow that we discussed in messaging Slack, in contacting agents, all of that information, but also fetching the data from Airtable, right? So we see fetching agents, fetching properties, and we can look at these workflows and see what this is, right? This is called upon by Zite, triggered by Zite, and it gets the records in Airtable and then transforms it into the code on our app. Wild, right? Just wild. So if we're happy with this, again, we can go to share, we can go to publish, and we've got it. Now this URL, I can just open it up. That's a live version of our app. I can't believe it. I mean, yes, there are some cosmetic things we could change, right? Like, I don't love this button. I can't read it until I hover over it. But, I mean, come on. This whole thing was built without a single line of code, written by me anyway. It was all written by Zite. Gotta check out Zite. As you can tell, my speaking has escalated more quickly as this has gone on because I'm getting just blown away by the possibilities. I hope you got a ton of value from this and that you're going to check out Zite as quickly as possible. Get on that beta, get access, and start building cool stuff. It's going to change the game. If you have questions we didn't answer here, swing by our website. We'll do our best to help out. If you like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, you know the drill. But most importantly, keep on building.